How's your mother, Peter?
Well, she had hoped to be here, but...
I'm sure she's been greatly troubled by the news. Tell her I'll call in and see her.
Well, thank you. I'm sure she'll appreciate that.
I like the hymns.
A rousing choice, I hoped. Perhaps my sermon was not so much to your taste?
Not much.
Claire.
You're not greatly impressed by St. Matthew chapter 5.
I don't feel like loving my enemies.
You're very fortunate that you know who they are, my dear.
I know.
I envy you your certitude. I fear before long we shall become uncertain of many things. God bless you both.
There's no point in rattling your saber at him.
We're in this position because of turning the other cheek.
Chamberlain did his best.
And look where it got us.
Germany's wild attack becomes more savage every hour. Down swoop their bombers on undefended towns, down upon women and children. From houses burning and houses wrecked, the march of the refugees continues. Here is one mother and her child, leaving a house in northern France that has just been set on fire by a German incendiary bomb. And she is only one of tens of thousands, fleeing before the horror of the mad beast of Europe. Some Nazi bombers are brought down, and for the moment there are others that take their place.
News has come in that the German air raid on the Channel Islands on Friday evening cost the lives of 44 people. The Home Office in London point out that this entirely unprovoked attack on the undefended towns of St. Helier and St. Peter Port was launched by the German High Command despite full knowledge of the island's demilitarized status. Eyewitness reports indicate the attack was by several squadrons of low-flying Heinkel 111s, during the course of which it's estimated almost 200 bombs were dropped on both targets, causing severe damage to harbor installations and several outbreaks of fire. Reports are coming in of a build-up of...
Sorry to break in on your Sunday, Philip.
Not at all, sir. I'm delighted to see you. Glass of sherry.
Would be most welcome.
Olive.
I have to look at the joint. Oh, will you have lunch with us, Mr. Ambrose?
Most kind, Mrs. Martell, but thank you, no. My own lunch is waiting at home, so I shan't detain your husband very long.
Do sit down, sir.
Thank you. Haven't you thought of getting out, Philip?
Oh, who hasn't? But I have a large practice. It just isn't on.
Heard from the boy?
According to his last letter, he just managed to lose an infantry platoon on Salisbury Plain.
Oh.
When will they come?
Any day. You know, we've set up a controlling committee to conduct affairs for the duration.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I'm here. We had our first meeting on Tuesday. And as secretary, I'm to ask you to join.
Me? Why me?
Well, there are 7 of us for agriculture, labor, finance, transport, essential services, and so on. We want you for medical services.
What about my practice?
No, your time wouldn't be monopolized. Your patients wouldn't suffer.
My patients or my patients?
Neither, I promise you.
One would have to deal with Germans.
Inevitably.
Shouldn't like that.
Philip, one has an obligation to the Guernsey people. It isn't necessary to enjoy one's duty, merely that one does it. Do forgive me, I didn't mean to be pompous.
No, you put it well. When do you want to know?
Now.
They machine-gunned the lifeboat and killed the coxswain's son. They fired on an ambulance. I mean, what are these sort of people that can behave like that?
In war, such things happen.
That's cold comfort for the families of the dead and the injured.
Do you think I don't know how they feel?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Claire, I admire your spirit. But indignation can lead to impetuosity.
And that could be dangerous. You understand?
Yes.
Come and see me again soon.
Shall I drive you back?
No, it won't take me long. Goodbye, Mrs. Porteous.
Oh, Peter, tell Mrs. Bartlett she may give us lunch in here, will you?
Very well, Mother. I'll only be a moment.
I think I should have gone.
You still can. It's not too late.
How can I?
Yes. Buck up. See you tomorrow.
You sure I can't run you home?
Work up an appetite for the roast beef and Yorkshire pud. Bye.
I've been waiting ages, Eric.
Sorry, love.
Where have you been?
Down the cinema.
On a Sunday?
A can of newsreel came off that last bolt.
Well, can't it wait till tomorrow?
I wanted to see it today.
Oh, so I can wait on my own. Get lunch dry up in the oven.
I give them 24 hours, Elsie.
What?
The Germans.
You can't mean it.
I was talking to a couple of Matelots from Brest, trying to get over to England. The whole Normandy Peninsula is stiff with German troops. Tomorrow, they say, at the latest. Where are the kids?
They've had theirs. Mum came for them. She thought, in case of another raid, they'd be better off there. They'd come back supper time. We should have gone, you know, like I said, beginning of the week.
Where?
The mainland.
Stayed where? Some school hall in Weymouth.
They'd find us somewhere. They'd have to.
We'd be refugees, Elsie. Strangers in other people's homes.
We'd all be together. We'd manage.
Together? Chances are we'd be split 3 ways.
Well, we can't just do nothing. There must be something.
You think I haven't tried? Oh, you're C3, they say. What, eyesight? Fallen arches? You watch their faces. Rheumatic fever, sir. Oh, bad luck. Sorry, old chap. Next. We're here. We're going to stay here. And make the best of it.
Mother?
No, thank you.
More crab?
No. Would you go if it weren't for me?
Well, I thought we
I
agreed.
think you ought to say.
Why?
Because Because I think my incapacity could very well become an issue.
Never has been one before.
Will it have ever been put to such a test?
I don't know what you mean.
I think you do.
Well, I'd rather you didn't pursue it.
Listen to me, darling. If the Germans should come here, it may be many, many months before this war is over. It would be unbearable to sit each week and watch you, knowing you remain because of me. To see reproval in your eyes.
How could you suppose such a thing?
Because that's how it would be.
There is the farm.
Well, Jean could manage it. Can you honestly say you would remain if it weren't for me? We've always been honest with one another. Don't deny the truth now.
No. I suppose I wouldn't.
Then you must go. Now, I will have that wine.
Herr Mayor.
You are the commanding officer?
I'm Mayor Richter, yes. Good afternoon.
Inspector Schofield, Guernsey Police. I've been instructed to convey this communication.
Be so good as to read it, Inspector.
To the commanding officer, German troops in Guernsey. From the bailiff. Sir, this island has been declared an open island by His Majesty's Government of the United Kingdom. There are in it no armed forces of any description. The bearer has been instructed to hand this communication to you. Signed, Victor Goslin Carey, Bailiff of Guernsey.
Thank you, Inspector. This is Mayor Friedel, who will be head of civil administration. Hauptmann Reinecker of the Waffen-SS. Oberleutnant Kluge of the Geheime Feldpolizei. The Oberleutnant is from the Hamburg police. Doubtless you will come to understand one another well.
If it is to be.
It is to be. Now, Inspector, will you be kind enough to inform Major General Minchell Ford of my presence?
As a serving officer, the Lieutenant Governor has been recalled to the mainland. He went last week. His authorities are now being exercised by the bailiff.
Then, Inspector, I should be obliged if you would arrange for us to be taken to him.
Very good, sir.
Oh, where can that girl have got to?
Do you want to start without her?
Oh, I don't like doing that. Not Sunday lunch.
I know what you mean.
We'll give her 5 minutes more.
Time for another glass of sherry.
Yes.
Oh, wretched business on Alderney on Friday.
Alderney? I thought everybody had gone.
No, John Ambrose was saying. Some of the farmers went across to see about the livestock. Most of the people had already left a week ago. Still half a dozen won't budge. Place in a terrible mess. Dogs and cats running wild. Shops and houses broken into.
But who do that kind of thing?
Well, who can tell? Boats from Normandy, perhaps? A touch of local enterprise? Just another early taste of the fruits of war?
I think that's terrible. All those poor people.
Ah.
Oh, Claire, where have you been?
They've landed, the Germans.
They've landed. You've seen them?
I've seen one of them. Stepped out in front of me near the airfield.
He say anything?
He saluted and said, "Good day, Fräulein."
Good God. Oh. I knew it had to happen, but...
Well, I'm
when it actually
starving.
does,
I couldn't eat anything.
You'd better. It might be the last time you do.
Oh, Claire, I don't think it's going to be
Well,
quite
what
like
is it
that.
going to be like then, Daddy, in your opinion?
Now, Claire.
Well, I mean the banality of it. Nearly a year of war. Europe overrun. God knows how many thousand dead. This island invaded, and it's good day, Fräulein.
Would you like a drink, Claire?
No, thank you.
Dr. Martell. Yes, I know. I've just heard. What? What? No. All right, I'll be there. 10 minutes.
Surely, whoever it is can
No,
wait.
it's not a patient. Not a patient, it's John Ambrose at the Royal Hotel. I have to go there immediately to meet the Germans.
You?
Yeah.
Why you? Claire, your father
No, it's all
has
right,
got
Olive,
to
let me. Claire, John Ambrose was here this morning. He's asked me to join the Emergency Controlling Committee.
But you're not a politician.
No, and I'm not required to be. The committee's administrative. It'll just run things till we get back to normal.
But the Germans are here. How can things get back to normal?
Well, until they've gone.
But that might be months, years even.
Yes.
Yeah. Look, if you're on this committee, you're going to have to deal with the Germans.
Yes.
Claire, don't you
No, I
think
want
it's
to know what this means.
Claire, I shall be concerned principally with medical services.
For the Germans.
For the people.
I'm sure Quisling said the same.
Oh. Claire, things are going to become extremely difficult for us all. Your father especially. He's going to need is entitled to your understanding. Don't you think?
I understand Major General Ford is no longer in Guernsey.
The Lieutenant Governor returned to England on the 21st of June.
Then by what authority do you speak for the government of Guernsey?
By what authority do you demand to know?
Let us understand the situation clearly. On the 3rd of September last year, the government of the United Kingdom declared war upon Germany. As a direct consequence of that, the Führer has ordered the occupation of the Channel Islands.
These islands are of no military significance. They were demilitarized 11 days ago.
This fact was not officially communicated by your Foreign Office.
His Majesty the King declared this in a message to the bailiff.
When?
It was early in the week.
It was on Monday.
Major Freidel is from Field Command 515, the German military government organization appointed to coordinate the civil administration of these islands. As Feldkommandant, it is inconceivable he should not have known of this order, had it been sufficiently promulgated. I think it is your own government in London you should blame for not communicating its intentions to my government. Adequate lines of communication are available via the neutral government of Switzerland or the United States of America. But perhaps your government was not over-willing to advertise its decision? So far as the German High Command is concerned, the occupation of the Channel Islands is necessary in order to neutralize the actual or potential military use by British forces. Had their demilitarized status been earlier known, the air attack on Friday might have been avoided. Officially, I cannot say. Personally, I regret the casualties and the damage. However, the immediately relevant fact is that Germany is the occupying power and will conduct itself according to the various international agreements arrived at in The Hague and elsewhere. Having presented my own credentials, so to speak, will you now please answer Major Freidel's question?
The bailiff of Guernsey is, by virtue of his office, also deputy governor. But in obedience to instructions from London, he's assumed the responsibility of lieutenant governor.
You have those instructions? Read them, if you please.
Home Office, Whitehall, the 19th of June, 1940. To the Lieutenant Governor. Sir, I am directed by the Secretary of State to say that in the event of your recall, it is desired by His Majesty's government that the bailiff should discharge the duties of Lieutenant Governor, which would be confined to civil duties, and that he should stay at his post and administer the government of the island to the best of his ability in the interests of the inhabitants, whether or not he is in a position to receive instructions from His Majesty's government. The Crown officers should also remain at their posts. I am, sir, your obedient servant, A. Maxwell. Acting upon the instructions from His Majesty's government and the recall of Major General Ford, the bailiff was sworn in as Civil Lieutenant Governor.
And where is the bailiff?
I'm sure he would be pleased to receive you, Herr Major, should you care to call upon him.
And your own position?
For administrative convenience during the duration, a special committee has been empowered by the bailiff to carry on the work of government, of which I am the presiding member. I trust that these constitutional arrangements meet with your approval.
The Feldkommandant is, I am sure, as impressed as I am. Having established our respective bona fides, perhaps we might now pass to matters of immediate practicality. Very well. Since it will fall to the Geheime Feldpolizei to ensure obedience to them, I shall ask Oberleutnant Kluge to inform you of my orders.
By order, the German Commandant of the island of Guernsey, 30th June 1940. 1. All inhabitants must be indoors by 11 p.m. and must not leave their homes before 6 a.m. 2. All orders given by the military authority are to be strictly obeyed. 3. All British sailors, airmen and soldiers on leave in this island must report to the police. 4. All rifles, air guns, pistols, revolvers, daggers, sporting guns and all other weapons whatsoever, except souvenirs, must, together with all ammunition, be delivered here at the Royal Hotel by 12 noon tomorrow, July 1st. 5. No boat or vessel of any description, including any fishing boat, shall leave the harbours without an order from the military authority. 6. The sale of motor spirit is prohibited, except for essential services. The use of cars for private purposes is forbidden. 7. The blackout regulations already in force must be observed as before. 8. Banks and shops will be open as usual. 9. All spirits must be locked up immediately. No spirits may be supplied, obtained, or consumed henceforth. This prohibition does not apply to stocks in private houses. 10. No person shall enter the aerodrome.
Waiter, I think we should all like tea now, please.
Hey! Peter!
Hello, Peter.
Hello, Peter.
Oh, it's been everything, this place. From the stockade on Treasure Island to a dugout on the Somme. You heard?
I was up the Jack-o'-lantern yesterday evening. You could hear him coming in over it all the time. Must be dozens of them landed.
You, taking the boat out?
Nobody ain't told me I can't catch lobsters.
Well, I bet you they do. Well, be too easy to slip away in the dark. Make for Weymouth.
Well, if they won't let us go out fishing, what will me and Dad do?
Well, I don't know what any of us are going to do.
Sodom, I say, just get on with it.
How about getting out, Peter? It's only 70 miles to Weymouth. I mean, even allowing for drift, we could make it in a day.
In an open boat?
Rig a tarpaulin. We went to St. Malo.
Oh, St. Malo's half the distance, then it's showered.
You don't feel like trying?
I didn't say that. How about your ma?
She would rather I did go.
I'm not so sure about mine.
I want to get out, Peter. Join the Royal Air Force.
I reckon the old chap would need some help with a boat seal. Didn't see him managing on his own. But you don't reckon they'll let us go out fishing?
I doubt it. But, well, even if they do, there'd always be someone to help your father.
Yeah. Yeah. Be a lark, wouldn't it, though?
You game?
You, I reckon.
Look, how fast will that engine of yours do flat out?
Oh, 5 knots max.
That's, what, 14 hours? Have you got enough fuel for that time?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Good. Splendid. When?
Moon was in the last quarter, let's see, early last week. New moon must be Wednesday. Any time in the next few days we want the dark.
Tonight?
Why not? Hey. Hey, bloody good, eh? Had some good games, haven't we? It's been the best of the lot, I reckon.
Yes.
Seen the paper?
Yes. Makes rather grim reading, doesn't it?
Thank you.
Cheers.
Good luck.
How did you guess?
I'm surprised you're surprised.
A mother's intuition, hmm?
When?
Tonight.
That soon?
Well, I was going to tell you. You don't mind?
Oh, I mind intensely, but I told you. You must go. I don't think I'll finish that.
Mother. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Breathe deeply. Right. I'm going to give you twice the usual number this time. Tide you over till we know where our next supplies are coming from.
I hadn't thought of that.
You're carrying on with your job?
Don't know if I can. Can't go on showing Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs forever.
I thought it was gone with the wind.
That was going to be next week.
Oh, pity. I was going to take my wife. What if they supply you with German films?
Now, if it's propaganda, I won't show it.
We may all have to do some things we don't quite like.
I'll not help them.
Corbin, with that heart, you can't do manual work. You've got a family to think of.
Thank you, Doctor.
Come and see me, whatever the problem.
You're on this committee, I hear.
Yeah.
Then I don't envy you.
There, that's much better.
Hello. What are you doing here?
I'm getting out with Peter Girard by boat tonight.
Oh, no, Peter.
Why, don't you want me to?
Oh, yes, of course. It was just a shock. What about your mother?
Oh, she knows. She thinks I ought to go. But she's been very good about it, so I wondered if you could sort of keep an eye on her.
Yes, of course I will.
Well, Jean will be able to manage the farm, you see.
I shall miss you.
Probably won't be for very long.
No.
Look, if I should meet Clive, is there anything...
Yes, there is. Go on, miss. I bet him 2 and 6 the Germans would never invade. And tell him that Mummy and Daddy are both well, and that it's nice to be able to get into the bathroom now he's not here.
Well, you always said it was you.
What time tonight?
11. We'll row out until we're abeam of Lihu, then start the engine, and she'll be in sight of Portland Bill by mid-morning.
You will be careful.
But there's no risk. Not if we go now, before the Hun gets organised.
11 o'clock?
Why, you're not thinking of coming too?
No, of course not. But I must go. Goodbye.
What was it?
A school.
It should do very well. I compliment you.
I was under the impression this was my office, Herr Oberleutnant.
Apologies, Herr Hauptmann. I was instructed to come here by Major Freidel.
Is that so? I think it will prove impractical.
Problems?
I was saying, Herr Major, it is not quite practical to share an office.
On the contrary, Reinecke. It is for reasons of practicality I considered it desirable. There are presently 120 of us to administer 25,000 foreigners. It is of first importance we should be united in every way. If we work together, we shall develop a common approach to the problems before us.
I understand, Herr Major.
I was sure you would. The Commandant wishes your company for snaps before lunch. At 1200, if you please.
Heil Hitler.
Is some comment intended?
I thought the invitation was a little dictatorial.
Supposed to be funny?
More droll than outright funny, I thought.
You would be advised to be a little more respectful.
Oh, Reinecke. Surely if I can take the Lord's name in vain, I can take the Führer's.
What was all right for the Hamburg police, Kluger, is not necessarily all right here. I want 4 of your men this afternoon.
May I ask what for?
I wish to inspect all lending libraries and bookshops.
Afraid you might find something not entirely respectful.
We've got a 3-mile pull, I reckon, before we reach Plymouth Point. Start the engine about there, continue due west till we clear the rocks.
Well, why don't we cut north across the mouth of Rock End Bay?
Don't fancy that on a dark night and a low tide.
You know, there are a couple of Kriegsmarine launches here in Portland Harbour. And what'll happen if they hear the noise of the engine?
Ooh, tide'll still be now 10 foot below high water. They'll be surrounded by half-tide rocks, be mad to come out. Anyways, I don't think we can row the old boat much further. We're proper shagged as it is.
Yeah. Look, how much fuel are we going to have to carry?
Now, let's see. My old thumper do about 10 miles to the gallon. So I reckon with a full tank, a couple of 4-gallon cans will see us all right.
Right. Right, well, let's time it through once again.
Slip out, quiet as a mouse, just on 11. Clear Plymouth Point about 1. Engine on about 1:15. In Weymouth for tea time.
Yeah, so we're going to be out in mid-channel a good bit during daylight.
Well, that's the risk we have to take, isn't it? Otherwise, don't go.
What about that breakwater? Yeah, they've got a post manned on there. We're going to be in trouble.
Ain't got round to that yet. Leastways, I ain't seen them.
Yeah, it's probably still too busy in Peterborough.
Won't be long, though, before we're on the old island.
Which is why it's now or never.
got you, my mate. Right. Ready? Easy now, okay? Yeah. Christ! Quiet. Okay.
Halt! Come on, quick, row!
Claire, where are you? Claire?
I'll be all right, but I must get back. I mustn't be seen here. Look, can you fetch some clothes? Yes. Don't wake up Mother. Knock up Jean. He should have some old stuff. And see if you can find some sort of dressing.
Yes. I'll be half an hour.
It's all right. I'll meet you at the top.
But you can't manage.
I'll be all right. They killed Peter. Go on. Now.
You know, the covers haven't even been pulled back.
Well, she's been away before, but she's always telephoned. I can't understand it.
Well, what are we to do, Philip?
I better telephone the police.
Yes.
Well, that'll mean the Germans will get to know it.
Sure. What does that matter?
Well, if she was involved in anything.
What are you talking about?
I shall leave it. Till 8 o'clock.
Well, you can't just do nothing.
Look, darling, if the police knew anything, they'd be on to us.
Did you put the pony in the shaft?
No, Jean did.
I wonder what he thinks. Can you see anything?
No. Are you all right?
Walk on.
Thank you, Mrs. Bartlett. I'll have it on the table.
How are you?
What's wrong? We're out of curfew.
Your name, please.
My name is Porteous. I farm here.
And you, Fräulein?
Claire Martel,
You also from here?
from St. Peter Port.
Early to be out.
He's taking me home.
He's a lucky man. Let them pass.
Walk on.
Dr. Martel. Claire, thank God it's you. We've been dreadfully worried.
Ask her if she's going to come.
Why couldn't you? Yeah. All right. She's out at St. Saviour's with Peter Porteous. There has been some trouble. She can't say on the telephone.
She can't say on the
Oh,
telephone.
no, she's quite right, of course. We don't know who may be listening.
Oh, God. What is happening to us?
Girard. They are a French family?
They are a British family.
It is a French name, I think.
We are all British.
You are a British possession.
If anyone is a possession, it is we who possess the British Isles.
Oh, come now, Inspector, that is an absurdity.
I must correct you, Herr Hauptmann. These islands once belonged to Duke William of Normandy, who conquered England 900 years ago.
An historical frivolity. Where is Oberleutnant Kluger now?
He's talking to your soldiers on the breakwater.
Good, good. Very well, that is all. Send the father in. You are Raymond Girard?
Raymond Girard.
Sit down. Inspector Scalper has shown you the body? Is it that of your son?
Yes.
You knew he was going out in the boat?
Yes.
In spite of the regulations?
Regulations.
You have not seen this? It's a special edition yesterday. It contains the regulations. It expressly forbids the putting out to sea of all vessels, including fishing boats.
I didn't know.
The guard on the breakwater saw 2 men. Who was the other?
There was only my son. And you killed him.
Your son would still be alive if he had stopped when ordered. It is not our fault, monsieur.
Mister!
The guard is not mistaken. There was another man.
I don't know or care about anyone. Except my son.
You may go. We do not wish for trouble. For us, for you, we wish only orderliness. But the regulations must be observed. We are at war. It is understood? Though I am sorry about your son.
Sorry? You dare to say that to me? Sorry, I've just killed your son. Sorry, we'll make it all right. One day you'll be sorry when you burn in hell.
I'm sorry about Peter Girard.
Sorry? Is that all you can say? You just stand there and all you say is sorry?
Be quiet! Now, just you listen to somebody else for a change. I've known Girard and his wife for 25 years. I delivered Peter. He was one of my first. In fact, it seems like yesterday.
I'm sorry.
Now, that's easily said. I'm sorry, but it doesn't necessarily make everything all right.
But what else can I say?
Well, just exercise a little forethought. Don't make it necessary in the first place. It's called thinking of others. I think circumstances are going to be very, very difficult for all of us. We must think before we act at all times. I'd better go and look at this injured boyfriend of yours.
The father, Raymond Girard, denies knowledge of another man.
Do you believe him?
I'm not sure.
Commandant?
We were discussing last night's shooting. Reinecke is unsure if there was a second man.
I'm in no doubt, Herr, my dear. It is certain that there was. The guard on the sea wall saw them both, and 2 life jackets were found on the rocks.
How important is it we find this man?
That's for you to say, Herr Commandant. But it is important, I should say, that our commands are obeyed. And if they are not, then the offenders must be seen to be dealt with.
Shot?
If necessary.
Reinecke?
Well, in terms of administrative practicality, I agree, sir, but does it not go further?
Go on.
Army Group D in France are pressing ahead with plans for the invasion. Morale on the British mainland will be a factor in the successful outcome of such plans. Now, I do not condone civil disobedience on these islands, but reports of our conduct here
could affect attitudes there.
I know that is Berlin's view.
A naive one.
Well, you tell them that.
I have lived in England. I also am not sure. However, we should find this man. When we have found him, then I shall decide.
Was good of you to come over so quickly.
There's no trouble at all. He'll be perfectly fit in a couple of weeks. One damage to his shoulder muscles will incapacitate him for a while.
Just as well, perhaps.
Jane Austen? A person of much sensibility.
Something we shall all feel the need of in the times ahead.
It's a tragedy about young Peter Girard, but I'm not altogether sorry your son failed in his attempt.
I don't need him to look after me, Philip. I told him to go.
It wasn't just you I was thinking of. There's this island. We've lost so many good people already. We need some to stay. People of sensibility.
The other man was lucky.
Or dead. Bodies float. No body.
The fisherman. Girard.
These... a different sort of man.
Who?
Painful?
No, it's fine, honestly.
Good, you've only been shot after all. Now let's have the truth. Keep your stiff upper lip for the girls, will you?
Sorry.
Does it hurt all the time, does it?
No, it's stiff mostly. Any sort of pressure.
You sleep well? Did you sleep well?
No. It's time I turn over.
Yes, you're going to have to be very careful with this, Peter. There's
Don't
always the
worry,
risk of
I'll be
infection. If you had to be taken into hospital with complications arising from a bullet wound, it might be rather embarrassing to have to explain it.
It's not that bad, honestly.
Yeah, well, take it easy just the same. I don't know if the Germans are searching for that second chap in the boat, but remember, you were seen nearby with Claire.
A drink before lunch?
No. Thank you. Too much to do.
Hauptmann Reinecker tells me you're hot on the trail.
Yes. Oh, the second escaper? No, not yet. Something else has come up. I think we ought to put our own house in order first.
That?
Yes.
More serious, whatever it is, than a man who attempted to escape?
When I was a detective in Hamburg, I never worried too much about criminals who tried to escape, because I would too. But one thing offended me very deeply.
What?
Being let down by one's own kind. I didn't like that at all.
I'm sorry.
I'm sure you didn't find that in the children's section.
My mum asked me to get it for her.
I'm afraid if your mother wants to read the unexpurgated version of Boccaccio's Decameron, she must come and take it out for herself.
She told me, Miss Brown. Honestly.
Then you may tell her I shall put it aside for her. And you can choose something from the children's section.
There's nothing in there worth reading.
He tries that boy. Last week, his mother wanted to read Rabelais.
Do you think it would do him any harm?
No. I think he'd be disappointed. I doubt if they'd live up to his lurid expectations.
In that case, why not?
I think it should be a parent's decision, not mine. Oh, I put this aside, Dr. Martel.
Oh, yes, that's the one he asked me.
What do you want?
The library is closed for the rest of the day.
Why?
The
On
library
whose
is
authority?
closed. You may reopen again tomorrow. Just one moment, please. Thank you.
My sister.
You are Miss Cecily Brown, the librarian here?
Yes.
Your catalogue is to be checked for subversive literature. Any prohibited books will be removed and destroyed.
I asked you on whose authority.
By order of the German military government.
So now you want to do it here?
Do what?
Burn books. I saw a newsreel not long ago showing you people throwing books on a bonfire. I remember thinking, why do they fear ideas so much?
Fear? We fear nothing, Miss Brown. But it is necessary to eliminate lies and other less obvious subversions of the truth. However, I'm not here for a discussion. Is this your catalogue?
Yes.
The prohibited authors are as follows. Vernon Bartlett, Peter Cheney, Winston Churchill.
We only have his Life of Marlborough.
Section?
It's not a political work, it's a biography of one of his ancestors, a work of history.
Biography or history?
History.
Duff Cooper, Anthony E.
Do you mind telling me why?
The man is a warmonger, Miss Brown.
One volume only. It's called Foreign Affairs.
Section? Never mind. Philip Gibbs, Louis Golding, Beverly Nichols, Harold Nicholson.
We don't have any.
Do you know your catalogue off by heart, Miss Brown?
There is one book you should take away and destroy.
Yes, what's that?
Mein Kampf.
Miss Brown, I'm here for seditious books, not people. But be careful.
You probably wouldn't understand this, but we didn't withdraw Mein Kampf even after war was declared. People are still free to read it, to make up their own minds. They're not told what to think. In fact, it's been borrowed more since war broke out than before.
It does not surprise me in the slightest. Your people are clearly interested to learn about our Führer's life, and as a writer...
As a writer, your Führer leaves a great... Have you finished?
H.G. Wells, I see you have the history of Mr. Polly.
You can't be serious.
Oh, yes, here on the card.
And even you can't believe that Mr. Polly is subversive literature.
H.G. Wells is a prohibited author, Miss Brown.
This is ridiculous. Utterly ridiculous. Look, this is probably one of Wells's finest novels, but there's nothing in it you could possibly object to. It's a story of a little man who tries to find himself. I think some of the material is autobiographical. It's amusing, but it's also tender. Don't do that.
The book is confiscated.
I'm trying to explain something
Give it to me,
you.
Miss Brown.
Can't you even listen?
Miss Brown, I must warn...
What's wrong with you? Why are you afraid of books?
Place this woman under arrest.
Why? Assaulting a German officer.
Cecily Brown? But that's ridiculous.
Well, ridiculous or not, she is now locked up in a cell.
What on earth happened?
I was in the library. And the Germans arrived looking for subversive literature.
What subversive literature?
Oh, God knows. Jewish, anti-Nazi, anything they don't like, I suppose. They made me leave. I waited outside. And then later she was taken away under arrest. 2 boys said they saw her knock a German officer down.
Oh, come on, that's impossible.
There must be some basis for the charge.
Well, why must there be? They're the conquerors, they can just do as they like.
She'd never do that, Philip. She's not capable of it.
Well, this is where we find out one way or another.
What?
Whether this committee of yours can actually do anything, or whether it's just a front for the Germans.
The way they behave. I'm beginning to wonder if they're not madmen, all of them.
I enjoy that.
Reinecke, can you spare a moment?
Certainly, Herr Commandant.
I hear you've been in action today, Herr Hauptmann. You were wounded. Nothing trivial, I hope. Still, this desperate criminal is locked up.
Yes, I want your advice about Fräulein Braun.
Herr Meyer?
Oh, not now, tomorrow. Meantime, she will leave it.
You tracked down the second escaper yet, Oberleutnant?
It's a question of priorities, Herr Hauptmann. Whether to waste valuable time searching for one man in 25,000 whilst another crime is happening under my nose.
Oh, come on, you can do better than that. It isn't 1 out of 25,000 and you know it. He's probably young and able-bodied, could well have been wounded. It isn't as difficult as all that.
There is an alternative to doing nothing. Every associate of the fisherman Girard, every able-bodied male under the age of 50 should be arrested and brought in for questioning. They will be detained for as long as it takes to get at the truth.
Supposing the man still doesn't come forward and no one hands him over?
Then the most likely suspect will be sent to France for further questioning by the Gestapo. It will work, I guarantee.
That's an extreme measure.
I agree, Herr Commandant. But unless we demonstrate to these people that war is a serious business, they will continue to play games with us.
And we certainly cannot have that, can we?
May I ask you something?
Of course.
About Claire?
Yes?
Well, you're obviously very fond of her. You've known each other all your lives. You've always been close friends.
On and off, when she's not lecturing me on my shortcomings.
She's a lovely girl.
What's all this leading to, Mother?
Well, you don't seem to be interested in anyone else, as far as I know. Nor does Claire. You're both young. You see a good deal of each other.
Yes, I know how I feel about Claire. But everything's so different now.
The war could go on for a very long time.
Yes, and I'm not going to marry and settle down and forget about it.
It crossed my mind. Ever since you tried to get away and couldn't.
That time I couldn't.
Dr. Martell's warned you must be
Yes,
careful.
I'll be perfectly all right in just a few weeks.
And as soon as you're all right, you'll try to escape again, is that it?
I'm not sure how effective it is, rounding up suspects.
Well, it has worked in the past, Herr Major. The people begin to resent the inconvenience more than they do us. Then they talk.
Then you agree with Hauptmann Reinecker?
There are two aspects to that, Herr Major. One for me and one for you.
What's your side of it?
At the moment, we do not have sufficient manpower to mount a massive police inquiry. What have we? One man who defied regulations before the ink was dry. His companion was shot and killed. I question whether we should concern ourselves further with this issue.
And what's the aspect for me?
The effect on public opinion, Herr Major. Action of the kind Reinecker proposes is a double-edged sword.
Indeed. I do not want a bitter and resentful community. I want an island as peaceful and as contented as is possible under the circumstances.
Also, there are other activities which require my professional attention. Cigarettes and spirits are being stolen in large quantities from the supply stores.
By civilian workers?
By our own men. There will be a black market on the island eventually. It's inevitable. But I don't want it fueled by soldiers of the Wehrmacht stealing from their comrades. That is my priority.
Otto, it would be impolitic to ignore an investigation about which Hauptmann Reinecker feels so strongly. Impolitic. Put your investigation on one side until you've established the identity of the other man who tried to get off the island.
You shall have him, Herr Major.
I'm sure I shall, Otto. And when I have, I'd be glad if you'd leave him to me.
I understand, Herr Major.
I'd like to speak to the Commandant. This is Dr. Martell. No, it's urgent. Thank you. Major Richter, it's Dr. Martell here. Major Richter, I'd be very glad if you could see me at the earliest possible moment. I'm speaking for the committee. It's concerning the arrest of Miss Brown.
Doctor, I wonder if we might leave it for a while. I'm looking into the matter myself. We may find that no interview need take place. Thank you, Doctor.
Well, when are you seeing him?
Huh? Oh, he implied it might not be necessary.
You mean he put you off?
Oh, I gathered he wants some time to try and sort it out himself.
All he's got to do is to release Miss Brown. That doesn't take much sorting out, does it?
Are you suggesting she should be released, Herr Major?
I'm consulting you. As the officer preferring charges, well, naturally she would have to receive a very severe warning.
I don't think that would be sufficient, sir.
Why not?
Well, two local boys also witnessed what happened. They'll talk, the way boys do, about how Miss Brown knocked down a German officer. If she were to be released unpunished...
An act of clemency?
I think that clemency would be interpreted as weakness. Herr Major. It could have been very serious. If I'd fallen differently, I might have fractured my skull. Oh, no, we must show firmness, especially during the early part of the occupation.
By firmness, do you necessarily mean trial by a military tribunal?
Well, had there been no witnesses? Probably not. But there were witnesses. And the story, or a garbled version of it, will be all over the island by now.
Suppose it could be arranged that she pleaded guilty to a lesser charge.
Provided she made a full and unconditional apology at the same time, which was published in the local press.
You'll accept that?
I must insist on the apology, Herr Major.
Very well, then. That is how we shall handle it. Thank you for your help and advice.
You are operating the searchlight the night the man Girard was shot.
I was, Herr Oberleutnant.
Describe the second man in the boat to me.
He was...
Yes?
Tall, I think.
I can tell that from his clothes. Age?
Young, perhaps.
Or old, perhaps?
About 30 or so.
Hair?
I don't know, Herr Oberleutnant. He was wearing a fisherman's cap.
Shape of face?
I'm afraid I...
You are staring down the beam of a bloody great searchlight. If you can't say, who can?
It was 200 or 300 meters away, Herr Oberleutnant. I'm very sorry. I wish I could describe the man.
But you can't, can you? Oh, what have we? A man who is tall, about 30, probably not working class. At least that reduces the field.
Miss Brown, I'm Major Richter, military commandant of the island. I'm sorry to meet you under these circumstances, but I hope we may be able to change that.
You speak very fluent English.
I studied in England some time ago.
Before your country took to destroying books.
Do you enjoy being confined like this?
No. I find it extremely unpleasant.
Do you admit that you assaulted Hauptmann Reinecke?
Certainly not.
There were witnesses. Reinecke was slightly injured.
Accidentally. He fell.
With whatever reservations, would you admit that he would not have fallen but for you?
Yes, that's probably true.
Then may we take that admission one step further?
But it was his own fault.
You make it difficult for me, Miss Brown. You say you dislike being in prison, so will you please listen to what I have to say without reversing every small advance we make before I can even draw a breath?
Major.
Thank you.
You are informed of the incident on the morning of Monday, July the 1st, Herr Major.
By telephone. The Unteroffizier in charge of the post told me he thought there was a second man swimming towards the shore. I alerted the nearest patrols, drove to the scene, and established checks on all roads and footpaths.
How soon after the incident were the checks in force, Herr Major?
I would say 40 minutes at most.
So, a man would have to swim ashore. Would have to climb the cliff. It'd be exhausting. He must have been stopped by the patrol, unless he lived nearby.
The houses in the immediate vicinity were searched. No one in the state we might expect was found.
Could anyone have passed the patrol without being stopped?
It was dark, and the area is wooded. Yes, an exhausted man might have laid up until dawn, and mingled with people going to work on Tuesday morning.
But the patrols were still out, were they not?
They were until 8 o'clock in the morning. Everyone within a radius of 1 mile was questioned.
How many, do you know, sir?
11. 10 men and a girl. You'll have their names there.
Yes. And now I must have their descriptions, Herr Major. I want to know how many of the men were tall, about 30 years of age, and not of working class.
Hello, Doctor. It's Peter. I'm sorry to disturb you, but you did say to phone if... Well, yes, to be honest, it's giving me hell. Well, I know how it happened. It was a stupid accident. Thank you.
Is he coming?
He's got some hospital rounds to do first, but he'll be along later. Well, before dinner, anyway.
Well, why don't you lie down and rest?
Well, actually, it's better if I move about for some reason.
I don't think that's possible.
An assault did take place, there is no doubt of that, even if only technically.
But it wasn't intentional.
Provided you plead guilty, say so, by all means.
It seems to me that the violent actions were performed by your troops, not by me.
Miss Brown,
They
may I
entered the
point
library
out-
without reference to anyone, ordered me to close, forcibly confiscated books.
Hauptmann Reinecke and his men were carrying out the authorized orders of the occupying power. Their actions were entirely proper under international law. It was your resistance which was improper, Miss Brown. Attempting to hinder a German officer in the exercise of his duty.
I was only trying to make him listen to me.
He was not there to listen. I do not wish to make a mountain out of a molehill, but he was hurt and you were not. Your sense of outrage is irrelevant.
If you will admit the facts in court, you may plead to lack of intent.
Well, all right. I suppose I could do that.
Good. A plea of guilty, then, followed by a personal statement in which you may conveniently
No, I'm
incorporate-
sorry. I can't apologize.
You have just said that you had no intention of injuring Hauptmann Reinecke.
I am prepared to express regret that he fell and suffered a minor abrasion.
Something along those lines would probably do.
But only in private.
The apology must be made in court and published in the local press.
I can't agree to that.
Then you will be tried before a military tribunal.
A public apology is out of the question.
Miss Brown, a simple apology. It could save you from a most unpleasant experience. Is that really out of the question? I shall leave you for a day or two. You may overcome your scruples.
It's no use, Major. I can't do as you ask. It's a matter of principle.
You own the Harbour Lights Hotel, Mr. Randall.
Yes.
When you were stopped by the patrol, you said you were going to the hotel.
Yes.
So early in the morning?
Most of the staff left before the invasion, including my chef. I have to be there.
How many guests are you up?
A few old people, but they need breakfast to prepare their lunches. I'm trying to keep the restaurant open for non-residents.
Try this on, Mr. Randall.
Why?
For size, Mr. Randall. Kindly do as you're asked. It's a good fit. Keep it on, please. Could have been made for you.
Hello? Yes, this is Dr. Martell's house. Who's that? No, I'm afraid he's not. He's at the hospital and then he's going to make some calls. Well, no, I shall expect him home when he arrives. No, I've no idea when that will be.
When you were stopped by the patrol, Mr. Miller, you were going where?
On my way to work. Mr. Conway's greenhouses. I have to start first thing.
Did you see anyone else on your way?
Only Germans.
Cigarette, Mr. Miller?
Don't use them. Never have.
What happened? It was an accident. Oh, John was coming out of the barn with some fencing posts and caught me right on the wall.
You should have been looking where you were going.
There's a German soldier coming up the path. Go into the kitchen. What? A German soldier coming up the path.
Good God, come on.
Keep your shirt on. I'll take it.
Who is it, Mrs. Bartlett?
Mr. Peter Porteous.
I'm Mrs. Porteous. Do you wish to see me?
Your son, I wish to see. Kluger, Oberleutnant.
I don't know whether...
Your man outside, your gardener perhaps, told me he was at home.
Did he? Or perhaps he would care to wait in the drawing room until he can be found. Mrs. Bartlett.
I hope my visit is not inopportune.
Why should it be?
This belongs to...
Dr. Martell.
His car parked outside, no doubt.
Yes.
After you, Doc. Thanks,
Dr. Martell, we've met before, briefly.
Yes.
Mr. Porteous, I'm Oberleutnant Kluger.
Oh.
Did I interrupt you?
We were just having some coffee in the kitchen. Well, there's some left.
I'll try not to keep you from your refreshment. Did you know Mr. Peter Girard?
Yes, we were good friends.
Might I ask you what you want?
I'm trying to establish the identity of the man who attempted to escape with Peter Girard. I think Mr. Porteous may be able to help me.
Even if my son knew, I'm sure he wouldn't tell you.
Then I must try not to ask him that question, Mrs. Porteous. You were stopped by the patrol early that morning.
Yes.
You were with a young lady.
My daughter, as it happens.
Yes, Doctor. You spent the previous night together.
No.
The under-officer in charge of the patrol gained that impression.
Well, he was wrong.
Claire stayed here, in the guest room.
I see.
She came to see me. We sat talking and realized too late that it was after curfew. Well, our families are old friends. We knew Dr. Martell wouldn't mind.
No, of course not.
Early next morning, Peter took her home.
In a pony and trap?
Yes.
Why did you not use the car parked in the garage?
It wouldn't start. There was something wrong with it.
It works now?
Yes.
Which garage repaired it for you?
I repaired it myself. It was some minor problem with the distributor.
You won't use it now, will you? We have a restriction on private motoring. May I smoke, Mrs. Porteous?
If you wish.
Is there something about my cigarette case? I found this one. It has no engraving, only the hallmarking. It makes it very difficult to return it to its rightful owner. Pity. Such a valuable object.
Yes.
Strange it hasn't been reported missing. Still, perhaps I will have my cigarette in the car. I needn't detain you any longer. Mr. Porteous, I hope you're not indisposed. Is that the word?
Indisposed? Why should I be?
Do you imagine that I sit in this chair by choice, Lieutenant Kluger? Dr. Martell frequently calls to visit me.
I beg your pardon. I wondered, that is all.
One moment, Oberleutnant. If you think that my son was the second man who tried to escape...
Have I given that impression?
By your very presence here. By your questions. Peter could have easily left before you people even arrived, but he didn't for obvious reasons. He looks after me. I depend on him. Why should he risk his life now? Besides, he wouldn't go against my wishes. And I wouldn't let him.
Good day, Mrs. Porteous.
Forgot about the cigarette case. I stowed it in the locker with my clothes.
more call. Then we're finished.
This man Kluger.
Oh, some sort of policeman. Feldpolizei, I think they call him.
He could be questioning everybody they stopped that morning.
Probably is.
They can't prove it was Peter, can they?
Depends on their definition of proof.
Well, if they arrest Peter, then you'd be involved as well, Claire, wouldn't you, for helping him? Oh, when I think this time last year there was no war on. The newspaper devoted a whole page to a cricket match at Elizabeth College. And now we worry about people being arrested.
When did the Commandant expect me to phone him?
Oh, as soon as possible, I think.
Well, I'd better in case it's about Miss Brown.
Excuse me.
So the manhunt still goes on?
Up here. I've interviewed all the suspects. Now it's just a question of selection.
Seeing him first thing in the morning.
About Cicely Brown?
Yes.
Well, that doesn't sound very... You were hoping they might drop the charge, weren't you?
Oh, you were probably right. He was just putting me off. Now he says matters have taken a more serious turn. But surely to God you would agree, wouldn't you, that the accusations against Miss Brown are not of a serious nature? I mean, they're not serious enough for her to be held in custody pending trial. Besides, she's been punished enough as it is without even being found guilty.
There is little doubt of her guilt, Doctor.
We're accustomed to the courts deciding that, not an individual.
The Felt Commandant's Court will decide it very soon.
If this were an entirely civilian affair, she'd have been released already pending trial.
Miss Brown was arrested under military law, Doctor. She is therefore within the jurisdiction of the Felt Commandant's Court.
But surely there must be degrees even under your military law. I mean, she's hardly a challenge to the Third Reich, Major. The formal request from the committee is that Miss Brown be handed over to the civil authorities and tried in a civil court.
In which case she will be released at once by the authorities.
On bail, she can hardly abscond.
And no doubt your civil court would be lenient.
That's up to the court.
I'm quite prepared to hand over Miss Brown to a civil court, but, and I have made this plain to her, she must plead guilty and apologize to Hauptmann Reinecke in public. Given that, your people may fine her 10 shillings and let her go, as far as I'm concerned.
I see. Well, that may seem all very reasonable to you, Major, but I can assure you that some people still have principles.
Miss Brown refuses to make a public apology on principle. When people invoke principles, Doctor, I know that reason has flown out of the window. For her own welfare, are you prepared to speak to her yourself?
I'll try. But I think I know her better than you do.
I would like to command a peaceful Ireland with as little trouble as possible. One thing I can very well do without is a self-appointed Joan of Arc. Only too anxious to be led to the stake.
Can I help you?
I was looking at the memorial plaques from the Great War. Porteous is an old island family?
Oh, yes.
I have met Mrs. Porteous. Sad. She doesn't get about very much, I suppose.
Her son brings her to church every Sunday, but otherwise not a great deal, I'm afraid.
I was brought up a Lutheran. Am I permitted to attend your services?
This church is open to anyone who wishes to worship God.
Thank you.
Cicely.
Dr. Martell, how good of you to come.
How are they treating you?
Like a criminal.
All because of Mr. Polly.
Because the barbarians have taken over, Doctor.
Is Major Richter a barbarian?
No. In a way, he's worse.
Worse?
A civilized, cultured man acting as a facade for barbarism, yet doing nothing to stop it. Yes, he's worse.
Perhaps he has no choice.
We all have a choice, Doctor.
He tells me he's put a suggestion to you.
Which is not acceptable. I won't apologize in public.
But you would in private?
Yes,
Is there a difference?
of course.
What is it?
To the man, Reinecker, I could say, I'm sorry you were hurt. I regret any part I played. That would be true.
And the same words, spoken in a civil court, would they be any less true?
Yes.
Why?
In private, it would be an apology to a man, an individual. In public, an apology to the Germans, and to them I've nothing to apologize for. Quite the reverse.
You do realize the consequences if you won't.
Perfectly clearly.
But Cicely, it is not as though it's a matter of any really great importance.
It is to me.
All you have to do is to say a few words. Everyone will understand the reasons. You'll be fined a few bob by the civil authorities, and you'll go back to running the library, and that will be the end of it.
Yes, that's all very sensible and practical, Doctor. But it wouldn't be a library anymore, not in the true sense of the word. This island was surrendered, but no one told us to surrender our minds. What am I guilty of? Accidentally causing slight injury to one man. If they insist on committing me to prison for that, then so be it. Let others judge whether
Cicely, if you're trying to make some sort of a gesture, very few people are going to understand or even know.
I shall know.
She is prepared to express regret.
And admit the injury was caused by her actions?
Yes.
Then, providing her apology is suitably phrased?
In private?
No.
Reinecker, here we are, doing our best to impose a machinery of administration on this island. There are 1,000 things to do. This wretched affair has taken up too much of everybody's time already. I can't order you to reconsider, but
I must
have
insist on a public apology, Herr Major.
Which means this is your last opportunity to change your mind.
No, Major.
Then you will be tried forthwith by the Feldcommandant's court. You will achieve that minor martyrdom which you appear to crave, Miss Brown.
When will we know?
My father's going to phone as soon as he hears.
She's so obviously harmless. They'll probably only give her a caution or whatever the German equivalent is.
I doubt it.
Well, a month in prison at the most. They couldn't possibly give her.
Well, I hope you're right. Did that German policeman ever come back and see you?
Kluger? No. He didn't come and see you.
But if he does, I shall tell him exactly the same as your mother did.
She was marvellous. Put on her most imperious manners. Very convincing.
Well, I'm sure if he was suspicious...
Hello? Porteous? Oh, hello, sir. Yes, she's here. Hold on.
Hello?
It's all over. We've just heard she's been tried and sentenced.
Are you sure? Yes. See you later. She's been sentenced to 2 years imprisonment.
What?
They're deporting her to France, to a woman's prison near Lille. Prostitutes, murderers, violent alcoholics, and Miss Brown.
2 years? For nothing?
It's their new order. Peter Girard killed. Miss Brown deported for daring to argue. Pray God they don't suspect you, Peter.
For both our sakes.
You'll be taken to the harbour in half an hour's time. Be ready to go.
Very well.
You have no one to blame but yourself. You were given every opportunity. You were a very foolish woman.
Perhaps. But I've done nothing to be ashamed of, Hauptmann Reinecke. Whereas I think you have very little to be proud of.
Art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive them that trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Let us pray for our dear sister, Cecily Brown, in the dark days and months of her time of trial. Almighty God, we beseech thee in thy infinite mercy and wisdom to support her upon whom the terror of invasion has fallen. And as her liberty is lost to the oppressor, let not her spirit be broken, but stayed by thy strength till the day of deliverance. And grant that she may be returned to us safe and well. Through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen. This is the house of God, where any man may enter, for we are all children of God. We are, however, for the time being, occupied territory. But the German authorities have not forbidden us to sing our national anthem. And in a few moments, those who wish to stay will do so. Hymn number 577.
Excuse me. So sorry. The man who attempted to escape with Girard was Mr. Peter Porcius. I think you'll find he has a bullet wound in the right shoulder. He was treated by Dr. Martel. He was assisted in his escape by Dr. Martel's daughter, Herr Mayor.
What is that scum want out here?
It will be unnecessary to put the car away, Herr Weston.
This is theft. There's no other word for it.
It's war, Herr Weston. The occupying forces need your car.
I need the car. I was wounded in the leg by you bloody lot in 1918, and I'm lame.
That is unfortunate. The keys, please.
I'll protest to the Commandant about this robbery.
By all means, Herr Weston, protest to whomever you like. The keys.
Let the German thief pick them up.
Daddy, no.
Thank you, Fräulein. Your daughter is obviously the realist in this house, Herr Weston.
If you've finished with us, get out.
Consider yourself lucky, Herr Weston, that you have a very beautiful car.
I'd had a gun in the house.
Well, then thank heavens you didn't.
God, how I hate them. They killed both my brothers. Smashed me up, and now this. How am I going to get about? How can I do my job?
The people will come to you. You can set up office here.
How am I going to get to court?
We'll find a way.
No. I must get that car back.
Daddy, you can't. They will never give it back.
Martel could help.
Dr. Martel?
Yes. He's on the controlling committee, health services or something. He could say it was essential on medical grounds. After all, that's the truth.
But Dr. Martel, you haven't spoken to him in nearly 3 years.
No, but you're still friendly with the daughter. Please.
$7:30 tomorrow night. Shall we go?
Is it worth it?
Why not? Yuck. Is she real? Or a vision, merely?
In my opinion, Anton, she's a vision. Pay no attention.
She's real, and I will prove it. Excuse me, Fräulein.
Yes?
If you could help me with a point of English.
Well, I'll try.
It is this notice about the dance. You see? All is welcome. Surely that is not correct.
No. All are welcome.
Thank you. These Germans, can they get nothing right?
I resent that.
My friend here, Joachim von Schellenberg, he is a German, but not a bad fellow in spite of it.
Well, aren't you German?
I'm Austrian, from Vienna, the most romantic city in the world.
Anton Chen. At your service, Fräulein.
Well, I hope I've been of help to you both.
One more question, if I may.
Yes?
Are you coming to the dance?
No, I don't think so.
Please come.
No, really,
We cannot be enemies forever. We could even be friends.
Bye.
Auf Wiedersehen. I think she will come.
I would be most grateful, Herr Commandant, if you and perhaps Meyer Friedel could attend the dance tomorrow for half an hour or so.
This is something of a departure for the Waffen-SS, isn't it? Organising dances. Somehow I don't quite see you as a master of ceremonies.
My job is to make it a success. And to make sure that it is seen to be a success.
Oh, then it's not just a simple get-together between our troops and the islanders.
On the surface, yes. But I have arranged for a photographer and a reporter from Illustrator Zeitung to cover it. I understand that Dr. Gelbers is taking an interest.
German soldiers and English girls enjoying themselves together.
Could make a big impression. In America, especially.
Yes, I can understand why the Minister of Propaganda would be interested. So, are we to be seeing Major Reinecke in the near future? Oberst Reinecke, even.
Bank on that, Herr Commandant. But
it will do your prospects no harm.
It will be noticed.
And Major Freidel and I will certainly come to your dance.
Thank you, Herr Commandant.
Whose is that magnificent car out there? The Rolls Royce.
Oh, I requisitioned it for use of the SS commander, sir. With your permission, of course.
You are coming up in the world, Reinecke.
He did say that he wanted to let bygones be bygones.
Very decent of him.
Well, it was nothing to do with Marie, isn't it?
I know that.
And don't make her feel uncomfortable about it.
He really did love my mother.
You know she had cancer, don't you, Marie?
Papa never believed it.
He didn't want to.
Well, you can scarcely blame him for that, can you?
No, of course not. No, I'm sorry. But there was absolutely nothing any doctor could have done.
I'm sure he never meant any of those things that he said.
No? Oh, well, it's all past now. Yes, I'll have a word with Major Ritter.
I'd be so grateful.
He'll probably malign me even more because I don't think I've got a chance in hell of getting it back from him. Will you excuse me? I've got a room full of patients.
And I must go and cook her some meat.
Oh, Doctor, thanks for trying anyway.
I haven't tried yet.
Well, I'm sorry, Mari, but I think your father's a cantankerous old devil.
Oh, I know he's a bit difficult.
I know I oughtn't to say it, but I think he's behaved very badly. And now I'll shut up.
You know, I'm almost glad they've taken his car away.
What?
It's a mobile prison, that car. Used to take me everywhere in it and then pick me up. I never had a date, not once, without him waiting for me to take me home.
I don't think I'd like that.
So, for the first time in my life, I'm free to go where I want on my own.
You've picked a lovely time to get your freedom.
I think I'll go to that dance tomorrow.
With the Germans?
Why not?
Well, don't be silly. You can't fraternise.
I don't hate them.
You can't mix with them.
How can we not mix with them? Ireland's full of them.
Well, then don't go out. Stay at home.
What sort of social life do you think I have in my home? Am I supposed to sit the war out with my father?
Well, what's your father going to say if he finds you dancing with the Germans?
Well, I shan't tell him.
Well, he'll damn soon find out. You can't keep a secret on this island.
Oh, what does it matter? We're all going to end up mixing with them sooner or later. If they win the war within the next few weeks, we'll have no option but to mix with them. War drags on for years and we're stuck here with them. Oh, we'll still end up mixing with them.
But you don't have to be the one who starts it.
Anyway, some of them seem quite nice.
Oh, try explaining that to your father.
Well, I will then.
Well? What did he say?
He's going to talk to Richter, but he wasn't very optimistic.
Making excuses already. I should have known better.
Daddy, he is going to try.
But not very hard, obviously.
Doesn't exactly owe you any favours.
Well, I certainly don't owe him any.
You did him an injustice.
That's a matter of opinion. You're not taking sides against me, are you?
No.
Well, I suppose I shall have to go along with him. After all, we're all in this thing together against the damn Boche. It's a pity one can't choose one's own company, though.
Who would you pick if you had the choice?
Well, it's hard to say. Very hard, in fact.
You don't really like anyone, do you?
Not much. Apart from you.
I don't know how you're going to survive this war, Daddy. You hate the Germans, you despise your own people. You're going to be so alone.
Well, I've always got you, haven't I?
I'm 18 now. I wouldn't mind a life of my own.
Oh, you're still a child, Marianne.
I am not.
You'd better go to bed.
That's right. Treat me like a baby. I'm not ready to go to bed.
Well, I'm not ready to fight with you, my dear. Why not have a drink instead?
I want to go to a dance tomorrow, Daddy.
Oh? What dance?
St. George's Hall. The Germans have got up a dance band.
A German dance? Over my dead body? A daughter of mine dancing with a Hun? Are you mad? What would that make you? What would it make me, for that matter? I won't have it here. I absolutely forbid it.
Good evening, Marie.
Dr. Martell.
Is your father in, my dear?
Oh, yes, sorry, do come in.
You're looking very nice. You going out?
Yes, only down the road. Oh, have you seen the Commandant?
Yes, that's what I've come to see your father about.
Oh, it is nice of you. Let's hope he'll appreciate it. It's Dr. Martell, Daddy.
This wasn't necessary, Martell. A phone call would have served.
If it had been good news, a phone call's all you'd have got. As it's bad news, I thought I'd deliver it personally.
How kind of you.
I take no pleasure in it. I did try on your behalf.
Unsuccessfully?
Frankly, I don't know why I bothered.
Daddy, Dr. Martell has been trying to help you.
As I would anyone else with a problem.
Yes, of course, Martell. I'm sorry. Very good of you, I'm sure. What are you dressed up like that for?
I'm going out. Drink, Dr. Martell.
No, thanks.
Not to that dance.
No, of course not.
You sure?
Yes?
Where are you going then?
Dorothy Simons. She's having a few people in.
Damn Bosch has the effrontery to expect our girls to dance with them. Would you let your daughter dance with one?
I don't think my daughter would need my advice about that.
Well, this one does. Would you mind giving her a lift to the Simons?
Of course not.
It's only 5 minutes. I don't need a lift, Daddy. Thank you, Dr. Martell. I'll walk.
I can't have her wandering around the island on her own like that. I really must have a car, Martell.
Major Richter suggested you bought another one, a smaller one.
I've been driving that car for 12 years.
Sorry, I can't help. You sure you don't want a lift, Mary?
Oh, quite sure, thanks. I've left some supper for you in the kitchen, Daddy. Ham and salad.
Might as well be under house arrest.
Oh, we'll try and find you another car.
Fat lot of chance. Now take care of yourself. Get someone to walk you home tonight, eh? And make sure you're back before the bloody Huns' curfew.
I will.
Where's the vision?
Going in, Joachim. I'll wait a few minutes longer.
She won't come.
I think she will.
Optimist.
A bit short of pretty girls, aren't you?
Pretty short, even of ugly ones.
It's only just begun. Give them time.
How much longer do you need us here, Reinecker?
Can you spare another half hour, am I off?
Yes, well, that's long enough. You don't want senior officers hanging about on these occasions. It spoils the soldiers' fun.
The prime object of this dance is not the amusement of the troops.
Yes, well, it certainly isn't amusing me much. Shall we go and have a drink?
Oh, I'm sorry, Herr Commandant. The bar's this way.
We'll do our fraternizing for the cameraman when there's something worth fraternizing with.
You see? I have been waiting.
Where's your photographer, Reinecker?
I think he went outside, sir.
Well, he ought to get some shots of that pretty girl out there, the one in the blue dress.
Where?
Over there, the one in the blue.
That's Miss Westman.
Oh, you know her, do you?
Yes, her father is a lawyer. I wasn't.
The man whose Rolls Royce you commandeered?
That's correct.
Well, I'm surprised you didn't commandeer her as well. Well, we must have a picture of the beautiful and important Miss Weston, don't you think, Reinecker?
Certainly, Herr Commandant. I'll go and find that damn photographer.
You waltz divinely.
It takes two.
Do you miss Vienna?
Terribly, but this little island is enchanting too. In fact, I could not be happier in Vienna than I am right now.
I think you mean it.
I mean it. My sweet Mari. What's the matter? This is the greatest Viennese waltz of them all. And you were dancing it beautifully.
It's that photographer. I can't have my picture all over the place.
Why not? You're the most beautiful girl here.
Can't you see?
Because of your father.
Kill me if you saw a picture of us together. Oh. Could I have a drink, do you think?
Schnapps?
Look, whatever that stuff was.
Well, sit down. Take care. I don't want any of those dreadful Germans stealing me away from you.
Good evening, Miss Weston.
Good evening.
I was most surprised to see you here. Most pleasantly surprised, I must add.
Really?
May I have the pleasure?
I'm booked, thank you.
Sure your escort would not object? You have no objection if I should dance with Miss Weston?
No objection, of course I have.
Then shall we take the floor?
I have every objection. If you think that I'm dancing with a man who has just stolen my father's car, then you're quite wrong.
Acquisition, Fräulein, not stolen.
Well, whatever you want to call it, you're still the last man in the world that I would dance with.
And I thought you were the realist in your family, Miss Weston.
What's the matter?
That officer's a very dangerous man. He commands the SS detachment. And the man with him is Major Richter, the commandant. I think perhaps we should leave.
Tom, you're frightened.
It's not tactful to remain.
That other man is Major Richter.
So you won't get your picture in the Berlin papers, Reinecker. Too bad.
Stupid girl.
Well, perhaps I'd better ask her.
You, sir?
I've done more disagreeable things for the fatherland than dance with a pretty girl. Would you do the military commandant of Guernsey the honour of dancing with him, Miss Weston?
Thank you, Major Richter. Excuse me,
There's one dance, my boy. I'll bring her back.
Herr Kommandant.
It is permitted to dance with the commandant, is it?
I have a confession to make. I want to ask a favour of you.
I did suspect that. Is it about your father's car?
Yes?
But I have a confession to make, too. I'd sooner see you driving about in it than Hauptmann Reinecker, however.
Couldn't you do something about it?
I will think about it. I do not promise anything.
It makes such a difference to both of us.
You too?
Well, if I'd helped get my father's car back, he just might start treating me as an adult.
Your father's a lucky man. He has a thoughtful daughter.
Uh, 4268. Hello, Dorothy. John Weston. Hello. I'm getting a bit anxious about Mary. She's to be home before curfew. I think she ought to start back now. You haven't seen her? Well, where on earth can she be?
But you didn't mind me dancing with Major Richter?
I was so jealous, I could have hit him.
Ransom, you wouldn't. Anyway, he's a nice man.
If I had hit him, they'd have put me up against a wall and shot me. No, I'm being serious. You do not know how harsh the German army is. I hate it. It frightens me.
Poor Anton.
No, I was going to be an architect. I shall be building things, not destroying them.
You do look nice in your uniform.
Thank you. sweet Marie.
Oh, Anton, my head's spinning.
You're not used to the schnapps, I think.
I'm just so happy to be with you. I mustn't be late. There's a shortcut across the fields. Help me, Anton.
One moment.
Whoa!
Come on.
It's all very well for you, but I can't do that. Oh. Oh. No, no.
Squad, halt! Get into your house and shut the door.
I'm looking for my daughter.
You are breaking curfew and showing light. Get in or I will arrest you.
Have you seen my daughter?
If we see her, we will arrest her. Now get in. Move. By the front, quick, march!
Bosh swine.
Oh, shh, 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 shh.
Oh, please God, that's not Mrs. Doolan in labour. Dr. Montel.
Oh, Martel. Mary hasn't come home. And I can't get out to look for her. The damn Germans turned me back. I wonder would you go and look for her? You're allowed out after curfew.
Well, in an emergency, yeah.
Well, I am desperately anxious about her. This place isn't safe for a young girl. And, well, she wouldn't have been late for curfew unless something had happened.
Where did she go? Then where would I look?
Well, I think she may have gone to that German dance. I forbade her, you understand, but I believe she may have gone in spite of me.
But she could be anywhere. Look, leave it for half an hour and then we'll start worrying. If you hear anything, let me know. Huh?
Something happened to Murray?
Oh, yes, it's old Weston getting in a panic because she's out late after curfew.
What?
What do you think? She went to that German dance?
Well, in that case, she'll have one of the German officers driving her home. Isn't she lucky?
In that case, I wouldn't like to be in her shoes when she gets there.
She knows that, Philip. She's not stupid. I'm sure she'll be all right.
No! That's worse.
Oh.
Let me help you.
Just leave me alone.
Mary! Mary! Do not be angry with me.
You hurt me.
I did not know. I did not realize for you it was the first time.
Just what did you think I was then?
Please forgive me. Say you forgive me.
I'm going to be in terrible trouble. Don't you?
I love you.
Just go away.
I must see you home.
Then Father will kill you. Please, leave me alone. You spoiled everything.
Squad, out! Halt!
Or try fire.
Don't shoot! Don't shoot me!
It is past curfew. You have no right out of doors. Why are you not at home, Fräulein?
I've been out with one of your soldiers.
So? Where is he? Why is he not seeing you home? You will need a better excuse than that, young lady. Breaking curfew is a serious offense.
I ran away from him.
She ran away from him. Why? Are our German soldiers that frightening?
Don't laugh at me!
I'm not convinced, young lady. I think we ought to arrest you.
No, please. I had to run away from him.
Why?
He attacked me.
You have been attacked?
Yes.
By a German soldier? What did he do? I see no marks on you.
He raped me.
That is a very serious charge to make.
He raped me!
And if you say so, no one will hurt you now, but we must go back to headquarters together and talk, as you understand.
You live alone, you say?
No.
With your father.
Yes.
Did he know you were going to this dance?
No. He told me not to go.
So, you disobeyed him.
Wanted to go.
Won't he be angry when he finds you defied him? Well, won't he?
I don't know.
Come, come. You've lived with the gentleman all your life. You must know what makes him angry.
Yes, he'd be angry.
And what does he feel about Germans?
He hates them.
That's quite understandable. And you, dancing with German soldiers, that would make him very angry.
Yes.
And to go home to this angry father late, after curfew, that would make you very frightened. So you make up this story about Soldaten Anton Shen just to get yourself out of trouble.
I didn't. Please.
I've heard the story 100
I
times.
told you the truth. It's what happened.
You're lying.
Please, look, I don't want to come here and complain. Your soldiers made me.
You were frightened of being arrested for breaking the curfew.
Yes. No. You're confusing me. Let me go home. I won't say anything more about it. Is that what you want?
What I want is the truth.
I've told you the truth. May I go now?
You've made a very serious complaint, Fräulein Weston. I believe there are grounds to investigate that complaint. I want you to have a medical examination.
Who by?
One of our army doctors.
No.
No, don't worry. They understand these matters.
I must have my own doctor.
Who is it?
Dr. Martel.
Martel, yes, we know him. I'll call him. I'll call your father, too.
No, please. I don't want to see him.
Martel, you've heard something?
Yes, can I come in?
Of course.
She's at the commandant.
They've arrested her?
No. Weston. She has been assaulted, I'm afraid, by one of their soldiers.
Assaulted?
I can't tell you how sorry I am.
Raped?
I'm on my way there now to examine her officially at their request.
No, I'll come with you.
I wouldn't advise it.
She'll need someone with her.
Would you know what to say to her?
No.
Stay here, then. I'll bring her back to you.
I suppose, she'll be feeling ashamed. And frightened. Of me, I mean. Poor darling. Was she hurt much?
Apparently not.
I'll come with you, I must.
And this, sir, is of you with Miss Weston.
Oh, what a pretty girl she is. Charming, too. Our dance was a great success, Reinecker.
Thank you, sir.
Good turnout by the locals, excellent propaganda pictures, and it was very enjoyable. Berlin should be pleased with you.
I hope so, sir.
What do you think, Ernst?
Well, she wouldn't dance with Reiniger. What have you got, Dieter, that he hasn't?
I'd like to think it was my good looks, but alas, no. It was because I am the chief. Your Rolls Royce is in danger, Reiniger. She wants it back.
She was very frightened of seeing you. She has no mother, I understand.
No.
That must be very difficult for you.
I don't think I need your sympathy.
No? Did you tell her about men? How do you express it in English? Tell her the facts of life?
Of course not.
Who did then?
I've no idea.
Poor girl. Well, Doctor?
All I can say for certain is that until 2 hours ago she was a virgin. She isn't now.
Has she any other injuries?
No.
No scratching or bruising?
No.
Was she, in your opinion, raped?
Of course she was raped, you bloody fool. Think a girl like that would give herself to a damned Hun?
Weston, please.
That's all right. I understand Herr Weston's feelings. This damned Hun was merely trying to reach the truth, Herr Weston. Now, Dr. Martel, you say she bears no marks of a struggle.
I don't think she could have fought if she wanted to. I think she was drunk. She said the man gave her 3 large glasses of schnapps.
Then we have a case.
What happens now?
Oberleutnant Klüger, Soldaten Anton Schenn, bring him here for questioning. He'll deny it, of course. They always do.
Then you let him go, I suppose.
No. I will charge him and take him before the commandant. The commandant will probably order a court-martial. As a lawyer, you should know. The court will decide if he is guilty or not. If you will excuse me, gentlemen.
Now, can we all go?
I'm sorry, no. I must ask you to wait. You'll be required as a witness, and of course, Fräulein Weston.
You mean you'd hold a court-martial in the middle of the night?
German military justice is swift, Dr. Martel. A serious offense is tried on the spot, and the sentence carried out immediately after.
But Miss Weston's in no state to be called as a witness.
Surely. There's no better time for the court to see the state she is in.
Then I will prosecute on behalf of my daughter.
Not in a military court, Herr Weston. I'm sorry.
What happens if they find him guilty?
The penalty in wartime for murder, desertion, looting, mutiny, rape, striking an officer is death. You'll be shot. Does that satisfy you, Herr Weston?
Too damn good for him.
Would Murray want the man shot?
Don't tell her, Martel.
I think she ought to know what she's doing.
If the damn Boche want to shoot one of their own, let them. Besides, where will she be? Where will I be, for that matter? In our community, if it seemed that she'd done this thing willingly. It's not something I could live with.
What am I in for, Gefreite?
I told you. Questioning by Oberleutnant Kluger.
What am I supposed to have done?
You know damn well. You've been messing about with an English girl. She says you raped her.
Oh, no. No, she couldn't. Oh, no, Marty.
He doesn't deny the intimacy with her, sir. But of course, says it happened with her consent.
Yes, but do you believe him?
He seems a decent enough lad, sir. But no. No, I do not believe him. He made her drunk.
Then he did rape her.
I'm a policeman, Herr Major. In my opinion, there's a case to answer, and the medical evidence concurs.
When did this happen?
After the dance. That's where they met.
One of our own men involved in the rape of an English girl. Could ruin the whole damn thing.
What sort of a girl is she?
Oh, very respectable, I'd say so. Only 18. Her father's a lawyer.
What's her name?
Weston, Mary Weston.
Is that the girl?
Yes, sir.
Oh, thing's been a bloody waste of time. How can I send this to Berlin?
Oh, damn your propaganda, Reiniger! I'm appalled. He will be court-martialed. Major Freidel and I will serve on the tribunal. You will prosecute.
It will be a pleasure, Herr Commandant. When?
Are the witnesses still here?
Yes, sir.
Immediately. Who is the man's officer?
Lieutenant von Stein, sir.
Oh, I see that he's properly briefed, and that one of his own rank serves on the tribunal. He has a right to that. We shall convene in 1 hour.
This is Soldaten Joachim von Schellenberg to sit on the tribunal, sir.
Are you acquainted with the accused?
Yes, Herr Commandant.
Do you know anything about courts-martial?
A little, Herr Commandant. I was a law student in Berlin before being called up.
You sit here. You are entitled to ask questions and to give your opinion as to the verdict.
Yes, Herr Commandant.
Are we ready?
The Lieutenant von Stein, sir, is still talking to the accused.
Then we shall wait.
So it's going to be your word against hers.
But they believe me, surely, Herr Lieutenant.
Look, I've got to be honest with you, Shen. You've spoiled Reineker's plans to make propaganda out of the dance, and he's prosecuting.
Reinecker?
You've been in trouble several times.
Only minor things, Herr Lieutenant.
Well, I'll do my best for you, Shen.
Thank you, sir.
Gefreiter.
If the worst comes to the worst, what will they do to me?
Look, Shen, I...
5821-835, Soldaten Anton Shen. You are charged under the Strafgesetzbuch that you criminally raped Miss Mary Weston, a Guernsey citizen, at about 2200 hours on Thursday, the 11th of October, 1940. You are also charged under the Disziplinarstrafrecht with the offense of disobeying an order, namely, to conduct yourself in a manner becoming the honor of a soldier of the Wehrmacht. What do you say to these charges?
I deny them, sir. I did not rape her.
I shall provide witnesses, sir, to show that this man has brought disgrace on his uniform and shame on all the German soldiers on this island.
Tell us your version of what happened, Shen.
I met her outside the hall and invited her to accompany me to the dance. And she accepted. We danced with each other all the time, except for the dance she had with you, Herr Commandant. We were very attracted to each other. We had some drinks. It was a very happy evening for both of us. And then I accompanied her part of the way home.
And then attacked her?
No. We made love, I admit that. But I did not rape her. She wanted me. I cannot believe she says I raped her.
But she does.
What happened then?
I returned to my billet, sir.
Why did you not escort her back to her home?
She did not want me to. She was afraid of what her father might say.
She ran away from you?
No.
Well, didn't she?
She was a bit upset. It was the first time for her. She was afraid of her father.
She was a bit upset. I've no doubt she was after your behavior. With your permission, Herr Commandant, I'd like to call the witnesses.
Von Stein.
Nothing, sir, at the moment.
Very well.
The court is ready for you, Fräulein.
I can't go through it all again.
I'm afraid that you must.
Go and get it over with. What if it had been Claire?
Why did you not fight him off?
It was all so sudden, I didn't realise what was happening.
But you must have realized at some stage.
Too late.
Reineke?
No question, sir. I should like to spare the lady any further distress.
Has the accused any questions?
Murray, do you know what they're going to do to me?
That is not a proper question.
Question, Shane.
Please tell me it wasn't like that. Please, you know it
You're not
wasn't.
helping yourself.
May I ask a question, Herr Commandant?
Certainly.
Fräulein Weston,
Yes.
if you had not been stopped by the patrol, what would you have done?
I would have gone home.
To your father?
Yes.
Would you have complained to him?
Don't know.
And would you have complained to anyone?
I don't know. I don't know anything anymore.
So, without the patrol, we might never have heard of this incident.
I think we've heard enough from Fräulein Weston. Thank you, Fräulein. You may go now. I'm sorry you've had to endure such an ordeal.
The Feldwebel in charge of the patrol is giving evidence now, Doctor. You will be next.
How was he?
Then can we all go?
Yes, yes, of course.
How did it go?
For whom, Herr Weston?
You know what I mean.
For the accused, badly. For your daughter, you can see for yourself.
We'll soon have you home.
I don't know what I've done. I think they're going to do something dreadful to him.
That's not your concern.
It is. It is my concern. It's all my fault.
Dr. Martell, you've given us very clear evidence about the girl's physical condition when you examined her, but you have not given us your opinion.
I cannot, as a scientist. I beg your pardon?
Was she, in your opinion, raped?
I cannot, as a scientist, say
But she was
positively that
distressed
she was...
and shocked.
Yes.
As a result of what the prisoner did to her.
I have no opinion about that.
No further questions, sir.
What else might have shocked or distressed her, Dr. Martell?
In her already emotional state, possibly several things.
Being stopped by the patrol?
And possibly.
Being taken to the commandanture and questioned for being out after curfew?
Perhaps.
Realizing that her father would find out she'd been to the dance with a German. And that not only her father, but the whole island would know.
That could be a contributing factor, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Martell. Has the accused anything further to say before we consider our verdict?
I'll take you home.
Aren't you going to wait for the verdict?
No, I'm not.
Please, I want to go home.
Don't worry, Weston. I'll find him guilty. I can't afford not to.
I believe her. A nice, respectable girl. A virgin, for heaven's sake. Very distressed, but obviously truthful. If a girl like that isn't safe from our troops, then we're in trouble.
Certainly my sympathies are with Miss Weston, but Dr. Martell seemed to have some doubts.
He stated the facts. He just refused to give an opinion. But do we need his opinion?
In a case of this kind, I would feel happier with some more positive medical evidence.
We can't afford to be indulgent in this. If we are, it will look very bad.
Let us reconvene.
Orderly!
Do I have any say in this, Herr Commandant?
Of course.
I know he did not rape the girl. I saw them at the dance. She wanted him.
Not that much, apparently.
All right, so he went too far. Any man might have done that. But he's being tried for reasons of state, isn't he? To save face, to discourage other German soldiers, not for what he's done.
I think you've said enough.
What will the local people think of Germans when they see how we treat our own men? Will they think better of us for it?
How do you find him, Herr Major?
Guilty, Herr Commandant.
Von Schellenberg?
Not guilty, Herr Commandant.
How do you find him? The decision is yours, Herr Commandant.
Bring in Nikios. "5821835, Soldaten Anton Scheen. The court has found you guilty as charged. The court sentences you to death by firing squad. A sentence to be carried out within 2 hours, subject to confirmation."
I am the resurrection and the life, saith the Lord. He that believeth in me, though he were dead, yet shall he live. And whosoever liveth that believeth in me shall never die. I know that my Redeemer liveth, and that he shall stand at the latter day upon the earth. And though after my skin worms destroy this body, yet in my flesh shall I see God, whom I shall see for myself, and mine eyes shall behold and not another. We brought nothing into this world, and it is certain we can carry nothing out. The Lord gave, and the Lord hath taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Pater noster, qui es in celis, sanctificata nomen tuum, adveniat regnum tuum, fiat voluntas tua, sicur in cielo et in terra, panem nostrum quotidianum de nobis hodie, et dimitte nobis debita nostra, sicur et nos dimittimus debitoribus nostris, et nos inducas in temptatio.
Fire, Marty! Standing! No! Aim! Fire!
Reinecke!
Herr Kommandant?
You will return that car to its owner this morning.
But, Herr Kommandant, I must protest.
Return it! That is an order!
Good morning, Fräulein. Meyer Richter has ordered me to return your father's car. Here are the keys. You will also be glad to hear that the miscreant who assaulted you was executed this morning.
was that?
How long? I told you, the injection's blocked. The fuel line's...
George!
How long? About an hour, maybe a bit longer.
Better not be. Well, this officer will be in Sao Malo tonight with the Gestapo, and tomorrow gets shot.
shall go to Petitbow this afternoon and walk on the cliffs while we still can.
Better not.
On your own?
Why not? Come with me then.
Yes, if you want.
Who else is there not gone?
Hey.
Oh, I'm sorry. I should have thought...
You did. Of me here safe and Clive...
Gone.
I wish to God...
What?
I were with him. I wish to God I were.
With him? Shooting a line to the Popsies in a cocktail bar at the Strand Palace, which is how Clive will be doing his soldiering if I know Clive.
Now and then I doubt you do know Clive. I doubt you ever have.
Mother asked, would you find some flowers for church?
Yes.
How is she, your mother?
Not easy.
Oh, for you, is it?
No, sir. Bloody well is not. All the same, what you said about Clive, the way he'd do his soldiering. There was no need. I mean, just to make me feel not so bad that I'm out of it.
No use for me to say. I suppose that it'll take more guts to stay here and see this island fed than to escape. Get to England, stand guard on some gasworks in Littlehampton or somewhere?
Well, even if that were true.
Which you doubt.
It's still no use to say.
Hmm.
So we're beaten, are we?
Yes, now we are. Ask me again a year from now, 10 years from now, if we've not starved.
I met Joe Lebec here last night.
Yeah?
Came from St. Malo.
Ah.
God knows. He said he met a barge skipper he knows from Rouen. They're bringing barges down from the north, from the Rhine even.
Yes, the channel won't be like the Rhine. Day for the sappers, just another river crossing.
There was a raid near Boulogne.
Raid?
From the sea. Lebec says the barge skipper told him. We killed 2 Germans.
2? How many more do you suppose before they'll all go home?
What do you want? A stable? A stable for your horses?
Bitte?
It's what armies do, isn't it? In churches, stable their horses.
I should tell you I speak English. Also, I am a Catholic.
And this is the Church of England. England!
So may not I come in? All I want is for a little time. Quiet. To be quiet.
Not army, are you?
No.
What?
Luftwaffe.
You, was it, who bombed us?
No.
Claire?
Here.
Ah.
This officer is of the Luftwaffe. But he is not one of those who bombed us, so we should not be angry with him.
Claire? Better not to say so loud what you think. To others. Some others who are here.
Not of the Commandant, are you, Lieutenant?
I'm here until tomorrow. Then I shall go.
How long since you...
Got burned?
Here.
The third day we bombed across the Vistula. The day we caught Kotzreber's cavalry falling back along the road to Ostrovets. So we went down and slaughtered them. All the horses and all the Poles along the road to Ostrovets. And going home after, their flak caught me. So I burned.
Does it pain you?
Only when I'm looked at so. By girls.
Always will be now, won't you? Be looked at by girls so.
Colonel.
Your war's not done, you know. It's not over.
There's no reason why the war should go on. Your army is all gone.
The army is in England. I have a brother in the army, and he'll come and the army, and they'll bury you.
Have you forgotten why you are here?
You're a Guernsey man, are you? Yes. I had this garage in Peterport. Not much of a place. Tin roof, a couple of pumps, you know. But it would have been in a year or so. I used to run it with a chum, Teddy Lupus. You may have heard of him. He rode a Norton in the 37 TT. Ripping solid chap, old Teddy was. Golly, you should have seen him flat out down Craigmere Bar. Bloody fearless, old Teddy. Sorry, I'll go on a bit, don't I?
Oh, some do when they're scared. You scared? No. But I bloody am. Your folks, still there, are they, or did they get out?
No, they stayed. Duty and all that. My father's a doctor. Doctors, he never thought much of me.
You volunteered, did you?
Rather. Wanted to get into the show.
Show?
The war.
I didn't mean that. For this? What are you going to do on that island? If ever we get you there.
Skipper, get underway if you want.
What I want is to bugger off back to Weymouth.
Take a rather dim view, Mr. Churchill will, if the Royal Navy just buggers off back to Weymouth. So you, wallop us in to Pettibow Bay. Yes? This gallant officer is going home.
There's someone at the door, Mrs. Martell. A German.
It's all right, Ruth. Show him in.
You come this way, please, sir.
Geval.
I don't speak your language.
My name is Richter, Major Richter.
My husband has told me of you, Major Richter.
I had hoped to talk to the doctor.
He's not here.
May I wait?
As you please. Why come here? Why not my husband to the commandantur?
In the army, some affairs are best done where there are no sergeants to hear. I want the doctor's help.
Help?
Influence.
How?
You know, of course, Mr. Porteous.
Of course.
Tried to get away. To England.
Did he?
Oh, yes. And the one he was with was shot. Dead. You know?
I know that your soldiers killed a fisherman. Yes.
Perhaps the doctor is with Mr. Porteous now?
Oh, he may be.
Your daughter is a friend of Mr. Porteous.
Since they were children. Yes.
So she told Gefreite Kirst. Gefreite Kirst, who was in command of a picket on the road to St. Saviour on the night the fisherman was shot. Your daughter was with Mr. Portier. She told the Gefreite she had been with him all night, which is not true, I think, although the Gefreite thought so.
You said some affairs are best done not at the Kommandantur.
Dr. Martel is at the controlling committee of this island. He and I have to make your people and my soldiers live together. So, I have come to ask him to discourage those who might follow Mr. Porteous in trying to get to England. To fight a war which is already lost. I am here because there are those of the Kommandantur who would advise a more direct discouragement, such as internment in France. And if I tell you that I am concerned to ease for you as best I can the misfortunes of war, will you believe me?
Should I? And if I lived in Warsaw or Rotterdam, would I?
Your son?
Yes.
What is his regiment? One forgets in the simple civility the military significance.
Then you would have said, where is he now, so you would know where his regiment...
Will be where they all are, dug in, across the channel.
You must have lived in England.
At Cambridge, yes, do you know it?
No.
In Trumpington Street, where there were cherry trees all along.
No, I don't know it.
I wish for you that your son will come safe home. There is no cause for the war to go on. Hitler has said so in the Reichstag. England should make peace.
But England won't, you know.
No, I know.
So, what?
If we must, we will invade. Von Rundstedt will cross the channel. Ah, Herr Doctor.
Herr Major. You were saying?
That von Rundstedt will cross the channel.
Ah. But surely, before he can do that, the Luftwaffe would have to win the air, wouldn't you say? Or the Royal Navy will hack von Rundstedt to bloody bits. On the beach.
I want to be off Corbière by an hour after last light, then take her into, what, 3 cables, 2?
Up the Esplanade into St. Peter Port. Why not?
Off Corbière, sir, there can be the very deuce of a lull. And if the wind's over the tide...
Which it will be.
Well, you'll have a hard row, sir, back to the boat. And you'll be on your own.
So will you be.
Yes.
Better get below. Get some sleep. While you can. What's it for, this operation?
You know damn well. Reconnaissance, so they can land troops and shoot up the airfield.
And at the end what? That boy will likely be tied to a stake with his head in a bag and shot. And not just him. His folks and anybody on the island that gave him cover. Worth that, would you say? A duff show like this.
There's one coming down in flames. There's somebody's hit a German, and he's coming down this long street.
No, Peter, don't.
What he's so cheerful about, that commentator fellow, is not which horse is going to win the derby. It's men being burnt to death.
When I went to church with the flowers, there was a German there. Not a soldier. Luftwaffe. Here for 2 or 3 days, he said, then he'd be gone. He'd been shot down in Poland, and his face was burnt raw. I was beastly to him, rather. And then I was sorry because I thought it could be you scarred like that, or Clive.
Wonder where he is now. Clive.
Last we heard, his battalion was at Dorchester. But they'd move up, wouldn't they? To where there'll be the fighting. No thanks.
Bumped into Teddy Lupus today.
Oh, Teddy Lupus, I thought, would have got away. He's not married, no family.
Nothing to keep him here. Only the business.
The business. Clive was a fool to have gone in with him when he should have...
Done what your father wanted. Gone up to Cambridge.
Things were never the same with us after he went in with Teddy. Anyway, when the petrol's all gone and the Germans have taken all our motors, what will Teddy do then?
Same as the rest of us. The best he can. Only, if I know Teddy...
What?
Better than most. He's a good man in the slips, Teddy, but he's always too damn near the bat. Oh, he'll get shot, for sure. Win the Croix de Guerre, of course, but get shot. Your father says I shouldn't try anymore to get away. Take more guts, your father says, to stay. Is that what my father would have said?
Care for your mother, he would have said, if he were like you.
Yes. 23 years ago this week.
The flowers for the memorial. I'm glad your mother didn't see that it was a German who put them there. It's getting dark. I must go.
I'll come with you.
No, you won't get in before the curfew.
Claire, what is it?
Must be because we were talking about Clive, I suppose.
No. Clive. About now, we'll be slow fox-trotting with some wren at a Saturday night dance.
Clive. We've passed Point Corbière. Running in.
I think today I should prune the apple trees, don't you?
You cut away too much last year.
Clive was here last year. I shall prune the apple trees. A little. After I've been to St. Saviour's.
Must you?
I'll prune the trees,
No,
will you?
go to St. Saviour's.
But you see, I have to talk to Peter.
Because Major Richter told you to persuade him not to try again? Not to get away?
It isn't that it's just Peter. Where Peter Porteous goes, others will follow.
But not into the war, if you can stop them.
Olive, it's going to be enough for us just to survive. No more marmalade. Not real Oxford marmalade.
When will it be not just survival? When is it helping the enemy?
Sooner for some than for others.
When for the controlling committee? When? When for you?
Olive, last night when you weren't with us, Major Richter told me that it had been put to him quite strongly, he said, by an officer of the Feldkommandantur who has some influence in Army Corps.
Yeah.
That for each one of us who acts against the Wehrmacht, 20 of us should be shot.
Would they do that?
Our soldiers do what they have to do. And if Major Richter has to do that, or deport us to some prison camp in France, then he will.
not at all as I thought he'd be.
What, Nazi?
Is he?
He's a soldier. A German soldier. He's from Wiesbaden, did he tell you?
No.
When was it we were in Wiesbaden?
36.
Yes, so it was. You know, I have this feeling about Richter. If we'd met him then, when the sun shone and the bands played in all those little towns along the Rhine, we might not have thought him such a bad fellow at that. Not such a bad fellow at all.
Bring your coffee and join us. If you're not in a hurry to get back to the war.
No, sir. No hurry at all.
Reinecke, Kluge.
Kessler.
Are you with us for long?
No, sir. Tomorrow I think I should get away.
Back to your squadron?
Yes.
Where?
Abbeville. Last I heard.
You're the fellow who came in shot up in a Stuka?
Yes.
What got you?
Hurricane. We were bombing a convoy off Portland. I was down low over the sea with this bloody hurricane after me. He got me in the rad. The coolant temperature was off the clock. It's a bad kind to ditch the 87. If we'd gone into the sea. So I split-arsed in over Peterport and landed.
You were lucky.
My poor bloody gunner was not so lucky.
He's dead?
Yes.
The fellows were out yesterday, you know? Bombing shipping in the Straits.
How many did we lose?
What would you expect?
Before summer ends, all of us.
Before summer ends, I will buy you a beer in London.
Where did you fight your war? Hey, Reinecke? On the train from Luxembourg.
Kessler, what have you seen of the island? Quite peaceful, don't you think? And the folk not too disagreeable?
Perhaps Kessler would like to stay. Until there is no more fighting.
Now that is a bloody good idea.
Church parade, Otto. I think you should go.
I would like to go, sir, of course. But Reinecke will have to pray for me. I have to deal with Feldwebel Wirth.
So you do, and will you?
Oh, yes.
And then Reinecke should pray for Wirth, too, won't you, Reinecke?
It's a pity about Wirth. He's a good soldier.
Also, he's a thief.
More coffee? Before the summer ends, you said? All of you?
You'll get hacked down, yes.
Bad as that, is it? To fly a dive bomber?
Against hurricanes and Spitfires, yes. Not so bad against cavalry. Unless...
Unless what?
Unless you can't forget after. How you butchered the poor sods.
Poland, was it, were you? Does it trouble you?
What troubles me is... it was such bloody good sport at the time.
Sport you paid for, rather?
Yes. But not enough. Not yet.
If I were in command of your squadron, I'd kick you out of it. Because the way you are, you're for the chop, Kessler. You're already dead.
What, so young Clive?
Hello, Teddy.
I thought you were on the other side. Somewhere in England, as they say.
Listen, what was that bloody German doing with my motorbike?
Ah. Maybe you don't know in the army. We've been invaded, old lad. Maybe they didn't tell you. Deserted, have you? Spot of leave, is it? Or what?
What?
You'll get shot.
So I've been told.
How did you get here?
Key was where you always left it.
No, I mean, how did you get here, the island?
Oh, piece of cake.
Parachute.
Dangerous, that. Look, you wouldn't have something to eat, would you?
Eat?
A bit hungry, is he?
Well, didn't you bring
Well,
anything?
don't be a chump. Be like having a hamper from Fortnum and Mason's.
Live off the land, then, will you?
Yes.
How long?
Not long.
Does Claire know?
No.
Your people?
No, and the Dalmore won't.
What, it's still not talking to your father?
No, it's not that.
What then?
Look, Teddy, if I get put in the bag and I've been with my people, or even Claire, it could be bad for them, do you see? They could get hurt.
What about me?
You?
You here could be bad for me. You get put in the bag, could be me that gets lashed to the gun wheel and all that.
Come on, it's not the same. You...
Should be with Second Lieutenant Martell, for king and country.
Teddy, yes. You should.
I told you when you went I'd not much care to be bawled at over Salisbury Plain by some pig-ignorant corporal.
Come on, it's not like that.
What is it like? Now, in England.
Well, it's in a way... It's grand, rather. We're on our own, do you see?
The Royal Navy scuttled the French fleet at Mers El Kabir, if that's what you mean.
What I mean is, we wish von Rundstedt would come. Because we'd smash him, Teddy. He'd never get off the beach.
Haven't done so well yet, have you, huh? The army.
We're coming back.
What? When?
We'll be back before it's over.
Clive. Oh, Clive. You eternal second lieutenant. What are you, scouting out of the column to relieve Baden-Powell, are you? With heliographs a-flashing on the road to Kathmandu. It's not like that. There is no great game. Only how to live with the bastards. Your father's on the controlling committee, did you know? He works for the Germans. Didn't you know?
Not heard much how things are.
What you're here for.
Just to see how things are.
The way things are, you should give yourself up.
Oh, come off it, Teddy.
You'll be got off then, will you? By the Navy.
Teddy, what you don't know, you can't...
Where will you be until you're got off by the Navy?
I thought with you.
With me?
Yes.
Well, not on, old lad, is it? That German you saw.
With my bike.
And he's coming back. Fact is, he wants it, rather, your machine.
Does he be damned over my
dead body? Name, rank, and number just will not do for you, Clive. You're a spy.
Look, Teddy, if I could just stay here for a... That German. Are you...
Trading with him? Oh, yes. What? What he can steal. Cigarettes, mostly. For whatever he wants.
My bloody motorbike!
Well, you won't be needing it, will you? I mean, a day or two from now, you'll be gone. Me and the fat felt people. We have to live here.
See you after the war, then.
It is after the war, Clive. For me.
Mr. Loomis?
Yes?
Kluger, I'd say, is a fox. He's Geheimer Feldpolizei.
But not Gestapo.
Oh, he's sort of provost marshal, I suppose. Fox on a beehive.
What?
What this island is, Peter. A beehive. And Kluger's a fox who'd not upset the swarm by killing 20 workers just because one unregimented bee had stung his rump. Oh, no.
Well, who then?
Reinecke, I'd say. It's got to be. He's of the Waffen-SS. The Praetorian Guard of the party. Hitler's own. I say, this coffee's damn good. Where'd you get it?
France.
Joe Lebec.
There'll not be much more, though, even from him.
Oh, I don't know. I think our war, Peter's going to be knowing what to hide and where the hell to hide it. Which reminds me, do you think I might borrow some pruning shears? I'm damned if I know where mine are.
Yes, of course. But you were saying about Reinecke.
Oh, Reinecke's so dreadfully German. Strength through joy and all that rot. Not like Kluger, who's a fox. Or like Major Richter, who lived for a time in Trumpington Street, where there were cherry trees all along.
Right.
Something he said to my wife. He was at Cambridge. Pruning shears?
Potting shed.
No.
I could lock you up and throw away the key. Boat to Saint-Malo, cattle truck to Paris, and a stinking cell in the Cherche Midi. So, you decide. What? Will you help me or not? I ask you again. Where?
From an Irishman who is a waiter.
Liar. Bloody liar, Mr. Lupus.
You know, you speak jolly good English. That is for a
Bosch.
German. I was going to say German.
Before the war, I was a police detective in Hamburg, a city in which the language of sin was English quite often. Tell me about Feldwebel-Wirth.
Who?
Feldwebel-Wirth, the fat one.
No, I don't know.
He was here this morning.
Ah, that one. Well, then, you know.
I have a nose for the likes of Feldwebel-Wirth, who steals from his comrades. A nose for the likes of you. But I told you, it's up to you. What? Prison in France, or...
Work for you.
Collaboration is the word, yes? Because to know if there is fever in the island, I must every now and then reach out to touch the nerve ends, is it? Where they are raw.
Me.
And others. There will be others.
What do you want to know?
Whatever you think I should know. Now and whenever.
You wouldn't have such a thing as a cold sausage, I suppose. Frankfurter say, or liverwurst?
Kessler, come and join me. Keep me company. No one who knows me will. Have they finished with your widowmaker yet? That evil bird of yours?
I'm happy to say not yet. Does that offend you, Kluger? Such lack of fighting spirit?
Not at all. Good sense, I would say. Not to be spoken too loudly. Not even when you wear that around your neck. Anyway, no one would believe it.
Do you believe me?
No.
You're wrong.
My trade was knowing what to believe, what not to believe. I was good at it, rather.
I was good at bombing Poles, rather. I had a taste for it.
And now?
And now? Another taste, now.
Like sucking the tits of a tin whore, is it? That's fear, Kessler. What that is fear.
No. It's more than that.
If what you mean is that blood must be bought with blood, then you should go to Corbière this afternoon and walk on the water. You'll drown, of course. But then at least no poor fellow who would have flown with you tomorrow will burn to death, because that is what you want to do.
What is it that Kessler wants?
To go down to the sea, sir.
Corbière, did you say?
Off Corbière would be as good a place as any.
What, to swim? Well, surely not, Otto. Quite dangerous, I would have thought. Your aircraft still unserviceable?
Yes, sir, but not for long, I think.
Good. Tell me, Otto, what have you done with Feldwebelwirt?
Let him run, sir.
Have you been done?
For now.
Why?
Ought to tell you, sir, yes. This afternoon.
I shall be with Major Freidel and the bailiff. Tell me now.
This morning, sniffing at the heels of the fat Feldwebel, I talked with a man who was in business with the son of Martel.
Dr. Martel?
On the controlling committee. Has a son in the army.
In England. Went to England when they all did.
Did he? And if he did, where is he now?
Sorry to have locked you up, Clive, but there's been a German here.
Here?
Claire met him, and your father, yesterday.
My father doesn't know, does he?
No? Why? Don't you think he should?
I didn't think you should, only...
I found him. In the potting shed.
Better for you, perhaps, if you hadn't done. If I get caught.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, when'd you come?
Last night.
By parachute?
God, no. In a stinking Douarnenez fishing boat. It's odd you should say that.
What?
Did I parachute? That's what old Teddy said.
Aye. Seen Teddy Lupus, have you?
Thought that's where I'd lie up, with Teddy. He wasn't awfully keen. Also, there was a fat German there. I'm afraid to say old Teddy's...
Let you down? Has he?
I'd counted on him, do you see? I mean, the sort of chap he was. I'd have thought if there was any one of us who'd wanted to biff the Hun, it would have been him. He told me my father's working for the Germans. Is that true?
Your father's on the controlling committee, which rules for...
For the Germans?
For the occupying power. For the best that can be done for all of us.
What I mean is, he's their man, Peter, is he?
Where'd you come ashore last night?
Corbière.
Hit your head in a rock, did you? Well, of course he's not their man.
How's Claire?
You should talk to that sister of yours.
Be dangerous for her if I did.
Could be more dangerous for her, maybe, if you don't.
Why?
It's no good provoking them. What? I said it's no good just to provoke them.
Does she?
You should try and persuade her, Clive, not to. Or she'll get mauled for sure. She might listen to you.
Well, not to you.
Look, you're fighting the bastards. I'm just the one who didn't get away.
Yes, I'm sorry. I know how you must feel.
The hell you do.
Look, even if it were wrong for me to talk to her, I don't have much time.
But when are you going?
Tonight.
But you're coming back. I mean, what you're here for?
To see how things are.
Well, how things are that the Germans have 400,
500 troops on the island. Infantry, most of them. Guns? Flak, yes. St. Peter Port. Fort George, and around the airport.
Well, tell me later about the airport. The beaches, mined, are they?
No, Soldiers' Bay, yeah.
Corbière?
You said...
Well, on my own, it was a chance I could take. Look, Peter, I have to know for sure about Corbière.
Oh, better go take a shot again.
That's very sporting of you, but it's not on, is it? No, I've got to do recce myself. If I don't and my colonel were to get splitting in a minefield, he'd have me orderly dog for a month when we got back.
It's a raid, is it? Oh, my dear Clive, you don't suppose that I thought you'd come for thé dansant at the Royal? Even you. What I said about Claire, I mean, well, it would be safe enough for her to meet you at Corbière.
No, Peter, better not.
But for her sake, I think you should. I told you she'd listen to you.
Claire, then. But not my father.
Oh, for heaven's sake, don't you trust him?
It's not that I don't trust him.
Oh, what then?
He said he's on the controlling committee.
Oh, yes.
Be bad for him, wouldn't it be? If they take me.
Claire, then?
Yes. Be careful what you say. Don't tell her I'm here.
No, of course not, but what shall I tell her?
You remember a girl who used to come from Limoges? Summer holidays with her aunt?
No?
Don't you remember?
No.
Oh, Claire would. This girl and I, well, she was the first girl I knew who wore silk stockings. Monique was her name. She used to come from Limoges.
Yes, you said.
Tell Claire that you'll be at Corbière with a friend of the girl from Limoges. The first girl I, Yes, well, she'll know.
Now, you don't come here to ask me that without good cause.
No, Doctor, we do not.
What, then?
The cause is your son is here.
Here?
Is he?
You know damn well he's not.
Please. That could be someone who's ill, someone who's been hurt.
It might be urgent, an emergency. Please. Dr. Martel's house? Oh, Peter, sorry so slow to answer. We've got some Germans here.
Are you all right? Well, what is it? Can you say? Some Germans have come to see your father. But there's nothing wrong? Well, no. Oh, why should there be? Claire, do you remember a girl who used to come from Limoges? Yes, Monique. Well, I'm with a friend who used to know her quite well once.
What?
Claire, what is it?
I'd like to meet your friend.
He'd like to meet you, too, after all this time. Can you get away?
I'm not sure. I think so. Yes. Where?
Corbière.
Who was it told you this?
Not on this island. Is that what you say?
Not in this house?
Well, of course not. And if you'd really thought that, you wouldn't have come here like this. You'd have come with a...
In the night, with soldiers, and kicked the door down, yes?
Look, I say again, my son is a subaltern in the British Army. He left this island to join the colours in the autumn of last year. When I last heard from him, he was with his battalion.
Somewhere in England, you would say.
Somewhere in England, exactly.
Dr. Martel, have I your word that what you have told me is true?
Yes, sir, Major, you have my word.
Now and then, what I have been told...
By informers?
...is not so. Or not all. What I have been told is that your son is here on this island in hiding.
Daddy, that Nazi out there won't
Oh,
let
Claire,
me go from
Claire,
our own house.
Go where?
Out. And he damn well out where you're not.
Major Richter, you will forgive my daughter, please, for her bad manners.
No need for her to stay. Now that I have the doctor's word.
What word?
But Clive isn't here.
Here?
Yes, not on the island. It seems that Oberleutnant Kluger had some cause to think that he might be. Well, there's no dishonor, would you say, in my giving my word that your brother is...
Somewhere in England?
Miss Martel is free to go, where she will.
Where, Claire?
It's all right, Philip. I know.
Why have you come?
I can't tell you.
They seem to know you're here. They know!
God, it's all up with me if they do. Not only me, there's a boat coming to take me off tonight.
He knows who you are.